Hi guys, and welcome to another video. It's great to see your faces. It's been a little while, and today I have a review of an Android box. So this is the vSeeBox V1 Pro. So let's get into what you get and also the specs of the box. So in the box itself, you get a very basic user manual. You get an AC adapter, an HDMI cord, your remote, also an antenna if you want to boost the signal for Wi-Fi, or you can plug in obviously directly in the back for Ethernet, which is always recommended for these boxes. I often forget to show this, but this is what the box looks like turned on. So sometimes they do have a bright light on or something that will annoy you if you have the lights off in your room. This one is not bad. It has the blue light and just basically a clock, so pretty standard for most Android boxes nowadays. Otherwise, this is the box itself, so your display in the front. On this side, you have a micro SD card slot, you have a USB 3 and USB 2 port. And on the back is where your antenna would screw on if you want to add that for your Wi-Fi. Then you also have your gigabyte LAN port, your AV port, your optical for digital, your HDMI out, and your power. Nothing on that side, and some venting on the bottom. Looks also like there's some mounting holes if you want to mount it on something, not sure. And the top. So pretty basic looking Android box, nothing really particular or unusual about it. And the remote, nice size, has a lot of useful buttons, including your YouTube, Netflix, Disney, and Prime Video. It's right on the bottom. Also have your number keys, your direction pad, and pretty standard towards the top. And it can also learn, so there's instructions on the back for that. And your standard AA batteries on the inside, which it does not come with, sadly. Most boxes don't. So nice remote, has a nice feel to it, and the buttons have a nice feel as well. So nothing really bad to say about the remote. It is not backlit, so if that's a concern for you, it does not have the backlit, but otherwise nice feel to the remote. And the specs for the box. So since this is a Pro, there was also just a V1 model. This does have 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, obviously expandable. And there you can see DDR4, which is incorrect, but that's on the box. So it is not DDR4, this is DDR3. So a little typo on the box there. Otherwise, it's an all-winner SoC running Android 10. So this is a quad core running at 1.5 gigahertz. It has a Mali G31 GPU. As I said, 4 gigs of RAM, which is DDR3, not DDR4. 32 gigs of storage again. I can't confirm the video output as I don't have a 6K TV. And my monitor is 1080p, which it is displaying that. It says Wi-Fi 6, which I am on right now, but there's no indication that it does have Wi-Fi 6 as far as any indicator, so I don't know if that's true, but it is 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and it is a gigabyte LAN, which is nice. Maximum USB storage is 2 terabytes, and there I mentioned the USB 3 and USB 2 ports for expansion or just plugging in something else. And the home screen, fairly basic. You have your weather at the top, your time, and then if you're connected to Wi-Fi, it'll show you up top there. Installed, it did have this Market, which has some third-party apps. Also, it does have the Google Play Store. Then you also have the Prime Video, Netflix, YouTube, and Disney Plus. That was also just pre-installed on the box. And it is not Netflix certified, so you won't get the HD Netflix. But it can play Netflix. It'll just be an SD quality. And it is nice to have the buttons there just for the quick launching of those apps, which is nice. So if we do go to the AIDA64, we can further look at the specs. So there you can see vSeeBox V1 Pro, 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, which translates to less obviously once everything's installed. And there it says Bluetooth version 4 Plus, so I don't know if it is actually Bluetooth 5. Here you can see the SoC is the all-winner, which is the H313 or H616 quad core running at 1.5 gigahertz or 1512 megahertz, 64-bit, but running in 32-bit mode. There you can see the display, which I'm running currently at 1080. And there's the Mali G31, so refresh rate is 60 hertz. And for Wi-Fi, you can see there 5 gigahertz band is supported, and we're running Android 10. And you can see the device is not rooted. So being not the most powerful Android box, it does feel fine as far as installing apps, just running apps in general, no problems with that, no hiccups. And of course for streaming, more than enough with 4 gigs of RAM, and the speed that it has, the quad-core 1.5, does it just fine. Definitely not recommended for gaming or heavy gaming, even medium gaming would not be the box for that, but as far as just streaming, it's a suitable box for that. And seeing as this is a skin of Android, it doesn't give a lot as far as customizations. I can only really add groups. So there you can see I added the groups for 1, which is Prime Video, Netflix, YouTube, and Disney, Group 2, etc. but that's as far as customization that you can do with this skin. So as far as just adding things or making it look different, not too much as far as that goes. So you can, of course, use a launcher and use that as well, but just out of the box, very basic. And on the bottom, we do have the memory cleanup, so you can just free up some RAM on the bottom here. Your system info, so there again, V1 Pro. I did have a software update fairly recently, so you can do that here. And launcher settings, like I mentioned, you can do app groups, parent settings, and just choose your startup app, so very basic. And then the settings for the system, I am on my Amazon Eero 6, which is Wi-Fi 6. Doesn't show me any indication of that, but I am on that. Otherwise, fairly basic, fairly standard settings for a generic Android box like this. If we do a Wi-Fi test, I am fairly far away from my router, but on my Amazon Fire Stick, some other devices, I can get around 90 to 100 megabit per second. So let's check what I get here. So fairly slow, as it's kbps, as you can see there, not megabit per second. If we go to my other Wi-Fi point, sometimes it is a little bit faster. So let's try that one more time. This is one I usually use because I do get usually better speeds with it, but there you can see 57 megabit per second. So a little better on this setting than my Eero setting for some reason. I've had struggles with that since I bought it, so I'm not sure why, but this is the one that I generally usually use. And for most boxes, I'd say a good speed would be around that 90 to 100 megabit per second. So here we're getting a little bit less. Obviously for these boxes, you want to plug in directly if you can for Ethernet. That'll give you the best performance. And they recommend anything over 8 megabit per second, so we're definitely getting over that. I've had no issues with streaming as far as that goes, so still a decent speed, just not the highest speeds I've gotten with other devices. So now there is a reason why you'd buy a box like this. This isn't just an Android box, it has some extra features to it, which I can't show you on this platform, but I can show you in Rumble. So stay tuned for that video. That'll be coming up shortly in the next coming days. But this box definitely does more than what others would if they're a stock Android box. So check that out. I'll have some links in the description also that you can watch just to get a little bit more information about this box. But otherwise, that's all I can show you here on this platform, unfortunately. But stay tuned for more videos. I do also have my Rumble channel if you're not familiar with my channels. And that's where I can show more content. I don't have to really cover anything up as far as that goes. So check out my Rumble. There'll be descriptions below and also other videos on YouTube and Rumble. And stay tuned for more content. You can also check out my Twitter and Instagram also. So stay tuned for those. Otherwise, the box, I think, as far as an Android box, is very basic. But again, you're not paying the price for this box for just the features of that. You're going to use the other features that it comes with. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.